Joyce, Lankester, Brisley. You can barely see the title, but that doesn't matter. You can look it up later. Milly-Molly-Mandy makes some toffee. Once upon a time, Milly-Molly-Mandy, with little friend Susan and Billy Blunt, were in the village, planning how to spend their pennies to get the most sweets. Miss Muggin's shop had the usual jars of raspberry drops and aniseed balls. Mr. Smale, the grocer's, had coconut ice and caramels. "But they go so quickly," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "And they're expensive," said little friend Susan. "Sugar's cheaper," said Billy Blunt, his nose to the glass, "but not so interesting." "Mother makes toffee sometimes with sugar," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "I wonder if we could." "How does your mother make it?" asked little friend Susan. "She puts sugar and butter and some vinegar in a frying pan and boils it up," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "Vinegar," said Billy Blunt. "Can't be nice." "It is then," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "It's lovely." "Well, why don't we buy sugar and ask if we can make some ourselves," said little friend Susan. "If you think you know how," said Billy Blunt. "Don't want to waste things." So they all went into the shop and put their pennies on the counter, and Mr. Smale, the grocer, weighed out sugar and handed it over, and they ran all the way to the nice white cottage with the thatched roof where Milly-Molly-Mandy lived, into the kitchen where Mother was busy cooking. "Mother," said Milly-Molly-Mandy, "may we make toffee all by ourselves? We've bought some sugar." "Yes," said Billy Blunt. "Please," said little friend Susan. Mother said, "Very well. You may use the stove after dinner, directly after the washing up is done, and I won't watch you." So, soon after dinner, Billy Blunt and little friend Susan came running around again. Milly-Molly-Mandy was all ready for them. Mother was at her sewing machine, but she only glanced up to say hello. "You won't take any notice of us, will you, Mother?" said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "No, I'm too busy," said Mother. So they set to work. They tipped the sugar into the frying pan with a knob of butter and a spoonful of water to start it melting. Milly-Molly-Mandy stirred with a wooden spoon, little friend Susan found a dish for the toffee, and Billy Blunt greased it well. "You don't really put vinegar in, do you?" he said. "You do, don't you, Mother?" said Milly-Molly-Mandy. The sewing machine stopped a moment. "I usually add a small spoonful to lessen the sweetness," said Mother. "There's some in the larder," and the machine rattled on again. So Billy Blunt fetched the bottle and they measured a spoonful into the pan. "We have to try some in cold water to see when it's done," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. She always liked that part. So little friend Susan fetched a cupful and they dripped a few drops in off the spoon, but it only made the water look dirty. "It goes in hard balls when it's done," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "Then it isn't done," said Billy Blunt. "It hasn't boiled properly," said little friend Susan. Presently Mother said, "There's rather an odd smell, isn't there?" "You promised not to watch us," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "I'm not watching," said Mother, "but I can't help smelling." "It's the vinegar," said Billy Blunt. "Perhaps it's getting done," said little friend Susan. So they tried a bit more in cold water. It tasted odd, but not done. Presently Father came in from working in his vegetable garden. "Hello, what's going on here?" he asked, sniffing. "We're making toffee," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "All by ourselves," said little friend Susan. "We bought our own sugar," said Billy Blunt. "What's the flavouring?" asked Father. "Onion?" He got his seed labels from the mantel shelf and went out again. They all laughed. "Fancy onion and toffee. All the same, it does smell sort of funny," said Milly-Molly-Mandy. "Perhaps the pan was oniony," said little friend Susan. "No," said Mother over her shoulder. "It's that vinegar," said Billy Blunt again. Suddenly Mother asked, "Do you always read labels carefully when you cook? It's one of the first rules." "I read that bottle," said Billy Blunt. "It said vinegar." And he brought the bottle to show her. The label read, "Garlic vinegar." "Oh!" exclaimed Milly-Molly-Mandy and little friend Susan loudly. Mother dropped her sewing. "I should have remembered there were 2 sorts of vinegar in the larder," she said, "but I so seldom use that smaller bottle. I wonder if you can cover up with some other flavour. Peppermint, perhaps." She found a tiny bottle in the cupboard. So, reading the label with great care, they added a few drops of peppermint essence to the toffee before turning it out into the greased dish to cool before cutting it up. The rest of the afternoon they played down by the stream with Toby the dog, and do you know they all thought the toffee wasn't really so bad. Father said he'd never tasted better garlic toffee, and it certainly lasted them a long while. but I don't fancy they'll make any more like it. They read labels very carefully now. And because it's Formal Friday, and because we started early, and because it's raining outside and it's not a nice day, we're all stuck inside, in a few minutes I'll be back with another story. Bye!